Welcome back to Streaming Rainbow, and welcome back to the playground. I'm Bastion, and I'm here to guide you through Act 2 of this terrible tale, and joining me are some familiar faces who you might recognize from Act 1, but they're not necessarily playing familiar faces. The camera starts with a dark sort of cave. It smells of mineral, of wet, vaguely of mold and mushrooms. You hear the soft drips and drops of water. And as the camera pans sideways, we see the face of a child. A new child. Alistair, can you briefly explain what your character looks like here, wrapped up in this strange cocoon?
Cocoon meaning like I'm in a blanket, or am I literally...
Wrapped up in a strange cocoon.
Okay.
Just your face showing right now.
Okay, cool, gotcha. Well, Alistair, I think his face is just like kind of like that, older kid who's trying not to look scared, but kind of definitely is scared, kind of like lower lip trembling a little bit, and brows kind of unfurrowing, furrowing, and stuff like that, but just staring like straight ahead. It'd be like if it was like a movie, you'd just be like zooming out from him, just like staring dead into the camera and just seeing that facial expression of trying to like almost lose it, but then not lose it.
Yeah. And as you sort of like wake up and come to and like feel yourself restrained in this way, you move your fingers and hands outwards and you feel... Have you ever done paper mache?
Negative.
You feel wet, gluey paper strands sort of pushing out, and as you sort of move your fingers, you feel it almost sort of roll up, but it does begin to part as you sort of dig through here. As you feel this, we smash cut to the fight with the witch's head. We see Alistair on the parapets, manning one of the harpoons. We hear the command from Ryan, "Rip it open!" Alistair, all his strength, trying to just pop this witch's head. And as that nauseous purple gas flooded out, as the playground shook and trembled and began to fall, what did Alistair do?
Alistair had at first Alistair just stops. Alistair is not an actor. He is a waiter. He is kind of like, I'm gonna see what happens and then make my move at the very last possible second. But he's at the point where he realizes things are actively going to shit and he can't do that right now. But he's in that moment of like those fight, flight, or freeze. Alistair's a freeze. So Alistair is like frozen, much like if in our first scene that we opened up on him. And he remembers, and the thing that makes him kind of move forward as he feels the ground is shaking, is he can see someone at the bottom, like past the parapets, the little girl actually that was trying to pull the witch's head. And Alistair knew who this girl was, Kate. And she was someone who, I mean, honestly, Alistair was scared of, even though he was much older than her. Because she was so brave and just kind of did what she was told, and was like, people looked up to her. And he saw her look at the playground and start running. And so he follows suit. and runs and finds himself doing something he never thought he would do. He starts to jump off the parapet, seeing like kind of using, I think, taking his Ouija board and almost using it almost like a surfboard to go down, like something, or like kind of land with it, something like that, to make it to where he's not just gonna like land and crush his body as he had seen another kid try and do, Joey.
Yeah. And we zoom back into the fear on your face as your plan doesn't quite go the way you hoped, as we see you sink into one of the fissures that had opened up at the bottom of the playground. As you're feeling around in this sort of papier-mâché, staring ahead in the utter darkness here, you see a strange little creature sort of push itself out of a hole. You're much closer to the wall in front of you than you thought. It's only probably 3 feet away, apparently, as you see this little red and white glowing mushroom just sort of crawl. It's got like weird mushroom stocky arms in its legs as it pulls itself out of a little hole, and you see it's glowing fairly brightly as the red cap pushes out and sproings comically, and it lifts up to look at you, and you see a pair of googly eyes that sort of rattle a little bit as it looks over. And after sort of gently assessing you, it jumps down, and you realize not only are you very close to the wall in front of you, it jumps down and lands on another cocoon. And we see Ryan's face. Welcome back, Ryan.
Bonjour, motherfuckers.
We smash cut to Kate desperately getting Ryan help, getting other seekers to help pull Ryan, running, grabbing Joey, embracing Joey in a warm hug as they face the inevitable. We see an unconscious Ryan being pulled towards the tree line. The night falls, and we hear the cacophony of monsters that the witch's head had summoned to the area. And then we come back to his illuminated face as Ryan, you hear, or you feel a little like plop on the top of your head, as though maybe a canary or something small like that sort of jumped on. As Alistair, you see this little mushroom take a seat on Ryan's head as he comes to.
I think there's like a... Ryan got pretty messed up.
Yeah.
So he probably wakes up like really sore. Just from like bruises, and there's like stinging feeling from whatever this cocoon is that's like settled into the crevices of the scratches, and some deep gouges probably he had. And there's that moment where his consciousness is nothing but pain. His existence is nothing but physical pain. And after like a breath or two, he wishes he could go back to that initial moment, because he remembers his last sort of like visual moments of seeing Joey go down, and the realization that if he's here, at least one of them didn't make it. And then I think he panics. I think there's like a right, that he can't move. He tries to go to like scratch his face. He like realizes he's in this cocoon, and then there's just like real like seizing. Like you think Alistair would see like squirming and moving, and Ryan probably starts like hyperventilating.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like a lot built up.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and give me I'm gonna say a composure presence roll here.
What the heck happened? Why is this not my sheet? Give me 1 second. I don't know. What the fuck? Adobe like freaked out for some reason, and my sheet went like, it looks like I shouldn't have downloaded that Call of Cthulhu book. I'd also downloaded a Red Dragon grimoire, so maybe that gave me Cthulhu aids on my computer. Let's see this really quick. Sorry, let me find the original file. Right, playground. There we go. Oops. It was really weird. I like opened it up earlier today and it was fine, and I looked at the thing I opened up earlier and it is not fine. That was really weird. There we go. That's the one. What'd you say again? Sorry. Let's take that again.
Go ahead and give me a composure presence roll to see if you can stay quiet.
Composure presence. Sounds good. So 5 total. Okay, I got a 1. But there's a 10. Geez, 2 1s. 2 1s, a 4. Oh my god, what a spread. 2 1s, 2 8s, and a 4. So
2 1s, 2 8s, and a 4. Well,
it's
that
like a
is
weird roll. Sorry. Go ahead.
That is unfortunately a failure, as your hyperventilating turns to sheer panic as you begin to sort of like yell and scream and grunt, like, get me out of here, trying to pull yourself out of the cocoon. And as you sort of vocalize, you see almost like a sound wave down past the two of you. The walls light up with these mushrooms that just, and they stay lit, and you see you are in a hallway that is probably 50 feet long, and it is entirely covered with cocoons. You see some even attached to the walls of this paper, and with the better lights for this moment, you can see that the paper that these cocoons are made out of, it seems like you recognize what looks like crayon marks, like maybe kids' drawings that were sort of turned into this paper mache. And after you get this sort of brief glimpse, you see something towering over a cocoon at the very end of the hallway. Probably, given that you're maybe 4 feet tall, the thing is easily twice as tall as the cocoon that it is sort of hunched over. And you see it look up towards the noise, and the hallway goes dark. But it's only dark for a moment, as from the other side you're hit with a blinding flashlight as Everly, you, hearing this sort of cry for help come rushing through. Everly, you've been here for probably about a week and a half. You've been down here. This place is a maze that sort of is full of odds and ends. It has several different rooms that are almost look more like TV sets than rooms, like kitchens that don't have anything in them, kids' rooms that are all perfectly made up. The corners and dark places have these sort of discarded toys here and there, and you've been doing everything you can to find and rescue anyone who is in these cocoons and cognizant. Because there are plenty of kids in these cocoons, but most of them aren't responsive.
Is it more often than not non-responsive? So it's just like, it's odd that I found somebody who's made noise?
It's odd. You have to find them, from what you can tell, you have to find them fairly fresh. You've found a couple of people. Most notably, you found Alice, the head of the Seekers, who the two of you have been coordinating a more like methodical search of the area to try and find an exit. But as you sort of find these people and lower your flashlight and they get a look at you, can you describe Everly for us?
You see a older kid, 14 years old, with corkscrew ginger curly hair and pale, just like classically ginger Irish kid, freckles along the nose. But something that is most notable is that she has heterochromia. So she's got one brown eye and one glass green eye. A very odd thing. And with her, and she always looks very stoic and quiet. So it's very startling to have that. And she's solid. She's a solid person who looks like she could absolutely take anyone down in a fight. She's stocky and solid, and that's, yeah, and then gives off an air of solid, of just like, she's here, she's got it. I think, and I don't think she, as soon as she sees Ryan, the light goes down immediately, and she reaches up and puts a hand on his sternum, just gentle pressure, but like grounding. Say, it's okay. It's all right. We got you. I got you.
Where am I? What happened?
I wish I could tell you, but we gotta get you out of here first, okay?
Okay.
And she's gonna try to.
And then I've seen Alistair move right across from me.
Yeah, you two have seen each other move. You both saw each other like look down the hallway, whatever that thing was, and look back.
And then he kind of like, because that's all he got is his chin. Yeah. He's like, over there too. Get them first.
Right, like you're basically this
like
close to each other's
18
faces.
inches from each other's face. Okay, so Everly is like squeezed. We're like this now, 3.
Yeah, Everly is
face to face. It's like the boxing promo wedding pictures.
Yeah.
Alistair has tried to use his mage hand from the Ouija board to do a shh over his lips to say that we need to be quiet. So I think
tried to do that, but you realize your Ouija board's not with you.
Of course. Okay, then you just see Alistair being like, okay, all right, okay. And yeah, she's going to quietly just start ripping in, especially getting Ryan started, especially like getting that going, because she sees Alistair at least has the beginnings of being free.
Yeah, as you sort of start ripping, like get the flashlight in your teeth, the little mushroom is still on top. You've seen these around. The couple of people that you've been talking to have kind of loosely agreed on just calling them Kodama from like the Studio Ghibli movies, because they have a pretty similar energy. and it's just sort of like perceiving you with a sort of like curiosity, but almost like a vacant curiosity as you tear apart. It's easy enough to sort of tear the cocoon and get Ryan out. I think the first step out, it's almost like the first step when you've been down like in the hospital for a while or been sick for a while, and you're like your legs don't have the strength you'd expect, and so as you take that step out, you like almost fall onto Everly.
Sorry.
You're fine. You're absolutely fine. Okay, you just hold on to me, okay? And then
I'm getting myself out, I think. Or...
Yeah, Ryan probably like reaches up to try and it, like feebly just like pawing at this like.
I think Alistair has like, because like, you know, Ryan was freaking out, and Alistair probably recognizes Ryan from like calling the shots and knows that Ryan just went through a lot of shit. So Alistair's definitely kind of like, you take care of him. I go,
yeah. And Ryan looks like a baby trying to open a Christmas gift.
Yeah, and I think with the time you've had, you've sort of been able to get like finger holes enough to get like a grasp to sort of like rip and get your arms out and start sort of getting the goop off of yourselves and get some semblance of clean as the sort of Kodama like tumbles to the ground with the cocoons.
Okay. Have I experienced the looming creep in the back? In the back, is this new for me?
So, you have seen something. Something is bringing these cocoons down here, setting them up. It's rare to catch any sort of glimpse.
Okay.
Of it. Give me an intelligence. What would be? Give me an intelligence investigation roll.
Ooh, that's bad. Because I don't have anything in I don't have anything in investigation. So that's.
I was gonna ask.
I was gonna offer.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna say that one of my merits is guardian angel, and that basically means that Alistair has somebody that's nearby or some sort of spirit that protects them or him. And before each game, I can roll a resolve and composure roll, and I multiply successes by 2. I did that before. I mean, we can do it now too if you want. I did do it before the game. Forgot to mention it before. But we can use. We have 4 extra dice we can add to any roll of the game. I'll leave it up to Bastion to decide whether he wants that just to be for Alistair's rolls or if we can pool it for like everyone to be able to use.
I like the idea of pooling it, but it's going to have to come from the fiction. So you can't just get those dice for free. You have to get Alistair to be on your side or to help you in some way.
Okay.
So for this roll, it's specifically trying to figure out how much information you've gotten on this looming thing.
Okay.
Okay. So how does this work? If it's unskilled, it's a -3. I only have 2 for intelligence.
So this is essentially going to be just a luck roll.
Okay.
If your dice pool is 0 or below, you make what's called a luck roll. So you roll a single die.
Okay.
And it's a success if that single die lands on a 10.
Please be good. Please be good.
Luckily, the risk for a failure here is not bad. No.
Yeah.
What?
You're my favorite pretty Gen Con dice. Guys, it's my it's my teacup dice.
That is so pretty.
So cute.
Mwah.
That is a very pretty dice.
Do I get it again? Do I get to roll another one to see if I get more success or no?
Sure.
Yay!
Let's see if it explodes.
It did. I got another one. Okay, I can't use that anymore.
Wow,
That
okay.
feels weighted. That felt unfair. Okay. What?
What?
That was my
No.
that was my streaming rainbow dice.
Guys, okay, I'm scared for the rest of the rolls of the
I
game
know,
now.
I'm fucked.
Right. You're using all the luck.
I know. Okay, can I stop now? I feel bad. I don't like it.
No, keep going.
Okay, let's do a different dice. Sure.
Hey, sometimes statistical anomalies work in our favor.
This is
Yeah.
Caleb Widowgas dice, so truly must be cursed. Let's
You're fucking lying.
0.
Oh my god!
Okay, different one. What am
All
I?
right.
This is not okay. they were mad. They're mad that Kate died.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah, the dice are mad.
Jesus.
6. There
Okay.
we go.
Okay. Only 4 successes.
Only 4 on a single die.
So, Everly, how, like, do you just
Holy
know everything about this
shit.
monster?
Hey, yeah, is it friendly? Is it my
You
puppy?
actually went.
I am the monster.
You went on a date
Yeah,
with
you
this monster,
wrote
actually.
Shelob, which inspired this monster,
Mm-hmm.
and so you control it.
You and the monster have conversed about how it's hard to be a mother.
It recognizes you as its master. Yeah.
So, you have taken to calling this creature the Moth. You're pretty sure that it has a very keen sense of hearing. The only times you really have seen it are when you're quiet. Usually when you're, like, have literally just woken up. You don't see it very much when you're out and about or walking around. And certainly when you're not when you're, like, rescuing people or doing things that generate a lot of noise.
Okay.
It's usually in the distance, though you've heard the sounds of crinkling paper that you've come to associate with the Moth. You also have pieced together this sort of nursery rhyme that the kids that are in this sort of induced coma mumble to themselves. It's not one you've heard before. Paper wings and gentle strings, nighttime hush is what he brings. Dreaming safe in cotton halls, gentle hands behind the walls. Rock-a-bye in whispered gloom, sleeping in a paper womb. When you wake, the moth will call, and in his arms you softly fall.
Creepy. It's wild. Hey, so are you guys good? Alistair, are you good?
I'm fine. Yeah.
We have to find my friends. We have to find my friends.
Hey, it's gonna be fine. We have to go.
No, I know they're fine. I know they're here.
Come on.
Kate would have made it. I know. Kate would have kept Joey safe. I know. They have to be here.
Ryan.
They have to be here.
Ryan. I'm so sorry. Are you saying Kate and Joey?
Kate and Joey have to be here.
I think before Alistair gets to respond, Ryan, I want you to go ahead and give me a we'll just say a wits investigation roll here.
Investigation 2, wits 2, so 4. See if I can get 4 successes.
Yeah, on 4 dice with 8
Okay,
and above.
that's 1. That's 2. 2 successes and 2 failures.
2 successes and 2 failures.
Yeah.
again?
No zeros. Sorry,
Okay,
I forgot
okay.
they're not failures. Sorry, I gotta use the right terminology. 2 successes and 2 neutrals. I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah,
2
the
successes.
failure is
2
correct,
successes.
but botch is a 1.
Yeah, no.
So
Oh, got it. Yeah, they were not ones. They were just, I don't know, it was a 3 and a 7 or something.
Yep.
Whatever it was.
So 2 successes. You as like you're like we gotta get Joey, Kate, and you see Alistair like look over at you. You notice on Alistair's head a little bit high up, a little bit tight. Doesn't quite fit. Hasn't been readjusted yet. But you recognize a particular baseball cap.
Take his fucking hat off.
No, I just picked it up.
Take it off.
I wanted to.
It's not yours.
I know that.
Take it off.
I am going.
He's gonna need his hat back.
Ryan.
Everly just picks Ryan
He's
up
gonna need it back.
and just like over the shoulder and just goes. Like, nope.
Yeah, I don't think Ryan has the energy to fight, so I'm not even. Yeah, that just happens.
Yeah, and you can keep yelling.
I think if anything, he's reaching for the hat or something.
Yeah, Everly's like, not. We gotta go.
And it's probably Ryan's like first time in his life where he's got that like real exhaustion, right? Because as a kid, you never get that, right? But I think what happened is that real exhaustion of like truly can barely move, right? Of like, I'm so tired, and he's just like, and then I think that effort and energy of just like give it back, and he just kind of passes out on the shoulder. I think he just kind of like. And that's maybe the last thing he said. He hears somebody's like, "Take it off," or he has to be fine. He has to be fine.
I don't know what's going on, right? If I've been down here for over a week.
Right. You did feel a lot of shaking above you. The like caves definitely shifted. There were a lot of cave-ins. And you have seen more cocoons in the past couple of days than you usually do, and kids younger than you usually see.
Everly looks over at Alistair and very firmly says, "Take off the hat. Follow me." I can explain. I'll take you to Alice. We'll tell you what we know. Just follow me.
I can explain too.
Okay, let's go. And I'm gonna lead to wherever Alice and I have made like a home base.
Real quick. Sorry to kind of jump in. But I wanted to see. Alistair really wants to find the Ouija board. His Nan's Ouija board. Can I try and see if I can sense it or feel it? Especially because it's really connected to the like ghosts and magic and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't you give me an intelligence occult roll to see if you can sense your Ouija board.
Okay. That's gonna be 2 intelligence, and then I have like 5 occult. 1, 2, so it's gonna be 7 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. Okay. Awesome. So I got a 3 successes, just flat.
Sick.
And then I got a 10, so I'm gonna re-roll that.
All right.
I'm sorry. That was 2 successes. That was 2 successes originally with the 10, so that was 3. It was still 3 successes, and then I just don't get another success.
All right. Great. So 3 successes. You definitely do as you reach out into the beyond and the sort of magical etherealness of this strange place, you try and push your senses, and you do feel it, and it's in the same direction that Everly is leading you right now. As the three of y'all make your way through these caves, you notice chalk marks on the wall, with some very simple sort of symbols that Everly and Alice and a couple of the other kids that are helping out have put together to be like, this hallway has been explored. This, like, go this way to get back to base, right? Just some really simple stuff. And as you walk for a bit, probably about 15 minutes, you come into one of the only places, Everly, that you haven't seen shift that much, which is this... It looks like it's supposed to be like a kid's bedroom, but the scale is all wrong. The room itself is massive. It has more floor space than most single-story homes, but it still has this, like, one bed pushed up against a wall, little twin-size race car bed with a crude drawing of, like, a window above it. And on one of the walls is a toy box. You know there's a toy box there only because you've dug through to try and find anything, and there is a toy box at the center of what is a massive pile of probably 100 or so relics. And you see, propped up near the front as you sort of reach out and feel Alistair, under, not very far under, only maybe one or two other things piled on top it, you see your Ouija board, and right next to it you see Ryan's vape.
I definitely go over to go pick them up. I will pick up... Alistair goes to pick up Ryan's vape, then remembers what happened when he picked up another thing, that, and kind of looks over at Everly. Maybe you should pick this one up for him.
Here,
I hand it to him.
over.
I hand it.
Yeah,
I hand it to her.
Yeah.
Don't think he likes me quite much.
There's a small little fire pit that y'all have set up, that when you do come across a furnished room, you break apart the furniture and bring it back for firewood, for warmth and cooking of anything you find that is remotely edible down here. And right now there's sort of the embers of a fire happening, and you see curled up around the outer edge, because they're like a ring of rocks that y'all put to keep it all contained and to, like, provide warmth, and curled up around that ring of rocks you see what looks to be like a really long tube sock, but it has, like, knit dog ears on the sock part, some sort of creature you haven't seen before, Everly, but you see it curled up right now around the fire pit as you sort of settle in and lay down Ryan.
Do I see Alice anywhere?
You do not see Alice. You were not due back for a bit. You found Ryan and Alistair pretty quick on your patrol.
I definitely give that strange sock creature the side eye, but Ryan is my first priority, and I would like to patch him up as best I can, grab whatever medical supplies I've figured out, or whatever, if I could have found anything, see what I can do to help.
Why don't you go ahead and give me, since we have some time here, you're not rushing it, I'm going to say an intelligence survival roll. A dexterity survival roll would work as well.
Intelligence survival, okay. I was going to ask for medicine, but they're both the same, so I don't really care. Okay, come on, guys. This is where it goes downhill.
Yeah.
4 ones.
Accidentally kill him.
I killed Ryan.
Is Ryan actively knocked out right now, David?
I didn't get any 10s.
Okay.
I was
no
thinking
3 successes.
he's probably it's probably that like fitful sleep, right? Of like a kid who fell asleep in the car kind of thing.
Okay.
Tuckered themselves out after a day at the theme park.
I think Alistair goes and sets the hat on his chest. Kind of awkwardly, but just like, all right then. And like just puts it there.
Yeah. Everly, you patch Ryan up as best you can. You have some makeshift, basically bandages and gauze that you've gotten from like various things that you found, stuffed animals that you've disassembled, things like that to make this makeshift first aid kit. But mostly what he needs is fluids. So you get some water in him, and after a little bit of time, he wakes up. And as the three of you are gathered here by the fire, we're going to set the scene. So as the three of you are by the fire and Ryan is coming to, we're going to go ahead and set the scene. So this is a mechanic actually from Brindlewood Bay that I really like. But the three of you are going to answer a question about this area, and you're allowed to inject things into the fiction here. So this is an open invite to actively participate in building this world, so feel free to go big and like really push things in that you feel are thematically appropriate. But the question that I want each of you to answer is, what at first sight looks like something you'd normally find in a kid's room, and what was it actually when you got a better look?
Okay. So I think that the first thing that Everly saw was a it looked like a, you know, like one of those galaxy projectors, like nightlight thing, but, and she was thrown by that because this is so bizarre, especially underground. But then it, wherever the little stars were lit, actually showed gems inside the dirt, like little pieces, like things inside. And it, maybe it wasn't gems, but there's like little bits of minerals or things inside the growth or something like that.
Yeah, I love that.
I think Ryan sees laying against the like in the corner, laying against the wall, what looks like at first a baseball bat and maybe like a hockey stick and like general sports stuff, and then as he kind of like takes a closer look, or the light shifts or whatever, he realizes it's like a pile of bones. It's like a couple of bones of like large animals. They're like femurs, just kind of stacked. And what he thought was like the equipment on the floor is like just a pile of like smaller bones with maybe like a hide on top or next to it, kind of thing.
I think Alistair, his eyes dart to what looked to be like some paper with some like doodles on it or something like that. And as he goes to take a closer look, he notices it's not like paper. It's like it's a scroll, but it has like weird magic runes on it. And like signs that like Alistair would know from being so obsessed with the occult stuff and like ghosts and magic that they're dark symbols, they're not good ones.
Yeah, and I think Ryan would also recognize a lot of those symbols from what he's read from Jack, the old bookworm that has left a lot of notes behind, that these are sort of runes that appear frequently in Nightmare Land. But yeah, these ones, and there are other occult runes mixed in that Ryan wouldn't recognize, but none of the symbols mean good things.
But Ryan would recognize them as like part of the same language, right? Sort of thing. Like they're in the same set, if you will.
Yeah, you would recognize them as part of this sort of like strange language of Nightmare Land that a lot of work has been done by the bookworms to decipher.
Cool.
But it's gibberish. It's just like bad gibberish. It's like if someone wrote down on a piece of paper like darkness.
Well, I think it's like the idea that like I can recognize something as like, is that like that's a Russian based language, but I got no fucking idea what it says.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, as you sort of settle in around the fire, the sock creature lifts its sock head, which is just the foot of the sock, and looks over, and like once it realizes that y'all aren't like moving or like threatening it or anything like that, just sort of like curls back up a little bit closer to the stones as they cool off. And about half an hour goes by and Alice returns. Alice is in the real world, she was track and field star of her middle school and was like on a track and planned to do that in high school, and was pretty sure that a track and field scholarship was her ticket out of middle of nowhere Michigan. But now she's here, and she's been here for a few years. She's kept in shape and does a lot of work with the Seekers, as of course, as the head of the Seekers, and has made her way up the ladder through doing very well and setting a lot of standards, getting things like fitness routines in place, getting like logistics, and like here's how you actually do walkthroughs to find things, here's like the types of things you should look for, here's what you should prioritize, and that sort of like mix of like physical and mental acuity has made her rise to the top very quickly. Visually, she is ginger through and through, sort of like fiery orange hair. Her face is a full like smattering of freckles, and she's very thin and wiry and very tall. And she comes in, and under her arms she's got some more broken down wood. It looks like maybe a couple of chairs that she found and broke down, and she sees Everly and says, "Hey, looks like we have some new friends. What'd you find, Everly?"
Well, we've got Alistair here and Ryan, and I think we might have some answers about those rumblings.
Yeah? I put my money on earthquake.
Can either one of you explain what happened?
It's not exactly it. Well, I can't answer. It wasn't. Well, the earthquake was caused by. It was caused by the witch head. A witch head came, and there was lots of screaming.
Small things. One of those small things.
This one? No, this one was quite large actually. And
Large one.
like very huge, ginormous actually. And then we had to pull it down, and then we had to use harpoons. The cannons weren't working, and then there was these bats, these horrible bats, these bats that would that were bigger than, like, back at home bats, or whatever home, I don't know, whatever at a time that you speak before, those bats, not like that, probably bigger than this little friend here, that dog, little sock dog.
It lifts its head and looks over at you.
Hi, pal. Little papa. Anyway, it was very bad, and that after we were able to rip it open with the harpoons and pull it apart, but then that caused lots of, like, noxious gas to come out, and that's very, very bad. I think that almost got to my head too, and that's when the rumbling began.
I think when you see Alistair say that about the noxious gas, you see Ryan's head hang a little lower in shame as they play with the hat in their hands.
Yeah.
And I think from looking down, though, after Alistair finishes their explanation, I think you hear Ryan just kind of say, he's making an assumption.
An assumption about what?
We don't know that the witch's head caused the earthquake.
Hmm.
We took the witch's head out, and it still sank. I think whatever caused the playground to sink is what brought the witch's head.
I'm sorry. The playground what?
Oh, that might have been an important piece of the story. The playground has sunk. Yes. It's gone. I think. I don't know. I'm not up there anymore.
All the way down?
I saw the top of the walls maybe 3 feet off the ground before I went down, as it was sinking.
Jesus. Witch's heads suck to deal with when they're 4 feet wide, let alone anything bigger.
You said this was like 10 feet-ish plus in diameter, right? By our child estimation? Yeah, okay. He would relay that yeah, it's about 3 or 4 times the width of size of a normal witch's head.
Yay big. Alistair kind of widens his arms awkwardly.
Alice so shakes her head. Something doesn't feel right. You're right, the witch's head, I mean, if what we normally face are some strange juveniles, they don't have any sort of ground shaking, sinking, but they call things. And it might have called something, especially if it was that size, something big, something deep below, something like the moth.
Would that happen to have been the big thing that I saw when everything lit up?
It was. Yeah, that's...
Roger that.
Moth.
So
Everly...
you don't even know how many... Oh, go ahead.
Everly puts a hand preemptively on Ryan's shoulder. Just, preemptively of, grounding again, looking at Alice. It sounds like something happened to Kate.
To Kate. Fuck. She was supposed to be the next. I'm going out to them. I should have gone out to the monkey bars before I came down here.
Alistair definitely kind of hunches over his already kind of long coat hangery shoulder blades, and he definitely knows what happened.
Maybe Joey's didn't make it because they were crazy or whatever. But Kate's gotta be out there. If there's anybody who can make it, it's Kate. We gotta find her. I have to find her.
She didn't make it. Joey went down, and then Kate went back up. I saw something happen, and everything happened so quickly. We just shut down the witch, and then Kate tried to run and get Joey back after trying to throw you out, and she didn't make it, all right? She didn't make it. She's not here. Joey isn't here. Kate isn't here. It's just you. I took the hat because Joey made me feel brave. And I thought that maybe having the hat will make me brave like him. It won't. The hat doesn't mean much.
Hey, I mean, look at the bright side. You survived, right?
There's no fucking bright side.
Okay.
Did you see anybody else? Any new cocoons that were viable?
Most of the cocoons that I saw today were marked. I saw a couple unmarked ones, but I got to them too late. I saw one of those weird kitchen dining room things and got this wood here, tore down some chairs, but that's about it for the foraging. We still got some cannons left, so we should be good on food and water for a couple days, but we're gonna have to find another stash soon.
Above table, did I get here before Alice?
Hold on. Did you have been here for... Alex, this is where you've been. It's been a while, and Everly, you've been here for how long?
About a week and a half, 2 weeks.
And
4 days for me, I think. It's hard to tell time down here, but I've slept 4 times.
Assuming you're both very capable, obviously. I've been watching... Oh, not like that. I'm sorry. I meant, you both are the ones that were, like, doing things and things, doesn't matter. But, I'm assuming you two have been trying to find a way out. I might.
Yeah, Alice takes off of her back. It's a poster case, like one that you'd sling over your shoulder. It's like a nice green leather. This is her relic as she opens the top and pulls out a map. This is my map. And what you can see here, and as you look down at the map, you see a network of sort of cave tunnels, almost like a dungeon map in a tabletop RPG. But it doesn't move when you're looking at it. But when you blink or when you glance up and back down, the layout is different. Something is keeping us down here. That's what I've been able to surmise. I don't know if it's a sentient cave system. I don't know if it's the moth. I don't know if it's some powerful illusionist, or if we're all high on some strange hallucination, funny gas. But anytime we find something that might be an exit, the tunnels shift. They curve back. There's very few constants in the tunnel system that we found so far, this room being the most stable of them. We can always find our way back to this room for some reason the chalk markings work, but it's harder to map it out or to find other places.
Can Alistair, I think, perks up at this information and wants to see if he can feel any other presence. Whenever she said sentient cave system, wants to see if he can feel any other presence other than the moth in the cave.
Absolutely. Give me an intelligence occult roll.
And I'd like to use Unseen Sense, my merit Unseen Sense. And what this says is that, I mean, we'll do the roll still, and then we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
You said occult what?
Occult intelligence.
Occult intelligence. Okay, so that's gonna be 7 dice again.
As this roll is happening, I think you see Ryan just kind of go sit, kind of slink away, and just kind of sit by the fire by himself.
Oh wow, dope. Okay, so I got 2 successes. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I rolled like 3 10s, so I need to re-roll this. But I got 1 so that's gonna take away 1.
Okay, so 2 successes so far.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's just 2 successes.
Yeah. And as Ryan sort of scoots over closer to the fire, the strange dog creature kind of like tentatively like takes a step towards Ryan. What do you do?
Is that what I sensed or saw?
That's Ryan sees the sock dog creature take a step towards him. Now that he's a little bit closer to it.
He just kind of like gives it that like shoe, kind of like hand.
It's
and just he's kind of like sitting. He's kind of like sitting with his like hands, like his arms wrapped around his knees in the way that like kids do a lot, right? And just kind of gives that like go, get out.
And its ears kind of like droop, and it just curls itself back around the rocks. As Alistair, you push out your senses, trying to get a feel for this place and anything that might be within it, and it's a little bit overwhelming. You're pretty sure that it's not a sentient cave system, but it is absolutely teeming with nightmares. The sock dog in front of you, there are kodamas running around inside the walls, there are strange mud creatures slinking from place to place, puddle to puddle, and just you feel an ecosystem of tiny dreams and nightmares surrounding you.
I'm sorry, but I think the question is not what, but how many. Everly and Alice.
And that's where we'll cut for today's episode. Thank you all for coming and joining me to kick off our second act of this story. I had an absolute blast. I hope you did as well, both my players and our viewers. We'll be back.
For our regular viewers, I know I don't usually cry this much. I swear to God, I'm fine, actually. This is, yeah.
This is just how good really Bastion is. Yeah. This
yes.
Just
where we went. This is where we went, so I'm living in it.
How it be.
Yeah. Watch The Last Stop if you want to see Mads cry. And next season that I run, watch that if you want to see Eli cry.
Won't happen. Ain't never happening. Let's go.
I'll get you.
Listen to Lantern Cove if you want to hear Eli
Then you will hear Eli cry. Yeah.
Thank you all so much. We will see you next week for our next episode, where we explore the depths, the moth, and what lurks below the playground. Good night.
I'm gonna kill Mothman.
No!